Simon Chadwick is director of the Centre for the Eurasian Sport Industry at the M. Lyon Business School and joins us now. Good to see you again. This deal has faced a lot of resistance, including from the All Blacks' own players and some of the public in New Zealand as well. But do you think there's an air of inevitability here? Is this a sign of more to come as far as money goes in the world of rugby union?
We've seen in sport over the last 2 or 3 years a wave of private equity investors entering the sport. Those private equity investors are very often North American, specifically the United States, but they are also coming from elsewhere too. And this particular organisation, Silver Lake, they're perhaps best known for the equity stake that they acquired in City Football Group. And many people will know City Football Group as the owners of Manchester City in the English Premier League, or, for example, Chengdu in China, and also Mumbai FC in India. So whilst I wouldn't necessarily use the word inevitability, I certainly think that at the moment this is a wave, this is a trend that has been taking place for some time and will continue for some time to come.
And staying with rugby, Simon, the UK's Daily Mail reporting Italy could be dumped out of Europe's Six Nations tournament in favour of South Africa in 2025. Will that be another financial decision, do you think? And surely there'll be uproar if that's allowed.
Well, there's a playing decision, and I think we have to feel some sympathy for the Italian rugby team as well, because historically, since their admission to the Six Nations, they've fared not especially well, and so I think in terms of the competitive balance of the competition, the authorities are probably looking at creating a more level playing field and ensuring that one team isn't suffering each year. But I guess you're right. There is always an economic dimension, a commercial dimension, a financial dimension to these kinds of decisions. And for a country like South Africa, for instance, to be admitted, South Africa are current World Cup holders, one of the biggest draws in world rugby, alongside the likes of the New Zealand All Blacks. And so inevitably there would be a financial boon, a commercial bonus by their admission to the competition if it was to go ahead.
And another big story in the world of sport today at the Beijing Winter Games, Kamila Valieva's stumble saw her leave the ice rink in tears. But the way this has played out in recent weeks has many questioning whether she should have been allowed to compete in the first place.
We live in a very difficult world. We live in a very complicated world. I think we increasingly live not just in a very commercialized world, but also a very geopolitical world as well. And my view on this is the way in which sport is governed needs to change, because clearly there has been considerable criticism and a great deal of cynicism around this episode. I'm not going to make a judgment of anybody involved, but I think what we do know is that the kinds of decisions that have been made, rightly or wrongly, they have led to widespread criticism and cynicism, as I say. And I think in this very complex world in which we live and in which sport operates, we need to be looking at new ways of governing sport to ensure that we don't get these very difficult episodes, these very difficult moments arising, and us not being able to deal with them in a satisfactory way.
Simon Chadwick from the M. Lyon Business School, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.